So, I think I'd like to start our conversation here. It's easy, to sort of go deep into technologies, into our products, into the platforms, and that's certainly a relevant discussion, right? But let's up level and let's start with talking about why media companies are transforming their architectures. And, Joe, I think you've got a really good perspective on this based on what you're doing for large studios, large content owners, vertically integrated media companies, who are really under pressure right now to
Yeah.
diversify their revenue, grow their revenues. So, tell us, what are they building? What are they having you build? What are they thinking about in order to continue to grow their business and compete?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's an interesting time, I would say. One of the big questions we get, one of the big asks is how do we reach more customers, right? So I think a lot of people feel like we've sort of solved, that first streaming thing. Netflix came out and all of the other clones came out, and those are all fairly well standardized. And now we're seeing Tubi and some other big players sort of broaden the reach. And now, as the studios are sort of seeing all this growth and seeing all of these opportunities as they expand to new markets, expand to new countries, new territories, they're realizing that their assumptions about how to deliver to those users isn't the same as in the States and in places like Europe. So they're trying to find ways to be really efficient and really smart with how they deploy their content, and sort of stepping away from these older school models where they just outsource everything and just worry about making content. So we're seeing a lot more companies bring the tech in house, bring in people who know and understand how to deliver content to users and do things like that. And we're getting a lot of questions about how do we save money and how do we deliver things as efficiently as possible? How do we reach those users in the countries that don't have our content yet and we want them to have our content, right? So that's probably our biggest discussions. That's probably the biggest thing we deal with now is the best way to get this content. We're talking usually about back catalog content, right? I think everyone understands how to stream Spider-Man and Superman and all those things. But when you start digging into your catalog and you have this content that isn't quite as valuable, doesn't quite have the same broad reach, that you have to find more specific uses, you really have to be good about your margins and your efficiencies and how you get that to customers. You just can't waste any money there because the margins go away. So a lot of questions about how do we really get really efficient, really dig down and get this content in everyone's hands and make some money. So
Yeah.